So thank my fellow casting actors, on-screen girlfriend Choma, Deborah, Jamel.
Now, whilst us lovers of Blue Therapy are still trying to recover from the crazy revelations that we heard from the aftermath of Blue Therapy, Mr. Provider, aka Paul, decided to set himself up for premium dragons on social media yesterday. It all started with one video on Instagram, and then it escalated onto some premium dirty dragons. I'm going to play the full video right now, and then I'm going to come back and talk about it.
Good afternoon, guys. This is Mr. Paul Bridges from Blue Therapy. I want to thank you guys so much for your support of my very first acting gig. This has really been an experience for myself. Literally, it's overwhelming. We've been able to get millions of views around the world, and I've never been a part of a social experiment like this in my life. And when I say it has so much of an impact that it hit the auntie WhatsApp group. You know, if you're on the auntie WhatsApp group, you're clear. That one, you're already clear already. So when I got there, the aunties was like, Paul. I said, no, we did it. We did it. All those months of practicing, all that provider role that I was giving my all. Although it did trigger people, and I apologize for that dearly from the bottom of my heart, because obviously I was playing a role that I was given. But at the same time, like within the whole team, like we worked so hard and we were able to pull it off. I want to also thank my fellow casting actors, on-screen girlfriend Choma, Deborah, Jamel, obviously Denise, you know how that went. I also want to thank the Trend Central team, Andy, everyone that's been involved. It has been an amazing experience, and I really thank God so deeply. We've been able to touch on serious topics within our community. You know, I've seen debates and conversations and reaction videos, and people are openly having discussions that I've never really seen people have online before. It is such an experience to be a part of this. I really thank you all for helping out. You know, in the future, social experiments, TVs, hosting shows, movies, feel free to contact me on info@mrpaulbridges.com. Guys, thank you so much. God bless and have a great day. Take care.
Now, when I first saw that video, I had a lot of questions, guys, and I had to sit down and calculate some of the things that Paul mentioned. Now, he mentioned that Choma was his on-screen girlfriend. He mentioned that they had been practicing for months, their lines and everything they were said, generally just giving off the impression that Blue Therapy was actually fake. Guys, he was even thanking the director, Andy, is it Andy Amadi? Yeah, thanking the director, thanking the rest of the cast, talking about, oh, if anybody has any other social experiment, they should basically hook him up in his DM. Like, dude was using that video to whitewash Blue Therapy, like literally cast the show as just a script, because he is fully aware that that question has always been a very controversial one ever since Blue Therapy started off on YouTube. And so he just single-handedly went ahead to just overwrite it that it's actually scripted, because that's what people want to hear. And then he also used that video to market himself as being available for any other acting gig or fitness gig or whatever. The guy he just whitewashed everybody and then advertised himself. Now, prior to Paul releasing that video on Instagram yesterday, Chioma had put out a tweet stating that, knowing fully well the kind of person Paul is, she is waiting to see the lies that he will cook up to clear his name. Now, apparently she was referring to the revelations that she had made on Blue Therapy, the aftermath. I had already done a review on Saturday about the crazy revelations that we heard from both the Deborah couple and Chioma's own side of the show. Now, two very shocking revelations that Chioma made on the aftermath of Blue Therapy is, one, she was actually the one paying 60% of the rent, whilst Paul was actually paying 40%. In other words, the house is our house, not just Mr. Provider's house. Then secondly, Chioma had revealed that Paul was actually broke. She had ran or stumbled into some documents in their house that stated that Paul owed a lot of debts to a lot of people or some companies or whatsoever. Those two revelations shook the internet. It shook a lot of people, because all through the period that we were watching their therapy sessions with Denise, Paul had portrayed himself as the provider, as the protector, as that man that is a family man that values family and blah 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 blah. And everybody had felt like Chioma was nagging too much, or Chioma was being overly defensive. But guys, after those revelations in the aftermath of Blue Therapy, the internet shook. And so after the aftermath, guys, Chioma had put out that tweet. So I feel like she already knew that Paul was going to do something crazy, and then just yesterday we saw that video on Instagram, and that video caused a lot of people to start talking, to start asking questions. It even prompted the director Andy and Maddie to also voice out. Not only the director was quite disappointed in Paul, the other members of the cast of Blue Therapy were also very disappointed. I'm talking about Deborah and Jamil. Those two people also came out in support of Chioma to drag Paul by the balls. Now I'm going to start with Andy and Maddie's reaction to Paul's video. Remember, in one of my videos I did about if Blue Therapy was real or fake or scripted, I had mentioned that I had heard Andy and Maddie mention several times in different interviews, that he wasn't going to disclose if the show was real or fake. But he had mentioned that the couples were real and they had opted onto the show by their own choice to, first of all, probably promote their brands and also help the show to achieve its goal. But he had not stated in clarity if the show was real or fake. But guys, I had also stated that personally, whether the show is real or fake, I very much appreciate the efforts of the organizers and the creators of the show to help bring to the fore the realities that a lot of people actually face in their relationships, especially Africans. Now, one thing I know for sure about most of these reality TV shows is that there is a non-disclosure agreement that is signed by anybody, whoever contributed to the production, to the bringing to life of that show. And that was most of the things that people were saying yesterday when Paul released that video. People were asking that, Paul, do you have the right to disclose these kind of informations? Because even the director himself has refused to give voice or give validity to people's claims that the show is scripted. So how much more Paul, who is just a cast on the show? So a lot of people are looking forward to the repercussions of Paul's video. But moving on to how the other cast dragged Paul, guys, it was messy. Jamil wasted no time in expressing his disappointment in Paul. Like, for him, man to man, he felt like Paul should have just kept quiet and accepted his fault, his wrongs. And then Deborah, my classy woman, Deborah came with all her might. She did not just drop one tweet, she dropped several tweets dragging Paul by the balls. Like, for Deborah, dude, instead of you to focus on your bag, instead of you to focus on getting your money up, you are here creating lies. Like, Deborah was livid. Deborah was just so pissed. And then Chioma took it off from Twitter to Instagram, writing wahala for who no get money. Guys, it was crazy yesterday, and the fans were all for it, as a lot of the fans of Blue Therapy wasted no time in joining their voices and dragging Paul dirty. Frankly, guys, what I have to say is that Paul just shot himself in the leg, because the reality is Blue Therapy came with a bang and the show has been able to achieve its purpose. What is the purpose of the show? Highlighting the crazy realities of relationships. Crazy realities that couples go through in relationships. Also giving credence to the fact that couples actually need therapy. And guys, Paul should have just left it at that. He played his role well. For me, I mentioned when I was doing my reviews that Paul was one of my favorite casts because I love his confidence, but then the guy is very, very egoistic. So a lot of people already liked Paul, the way he was, the way he portrayed himself on Blue Therapy. And to be very honest, people did not even care anymore if the show was real or fake. For them, they were fully entertained. But Paul coming out right now to put out that video and trying to kill the hard work, the sweat of the organizers of the show, trying to falsify the details of the show, guys, it just gave validity to all Chioma has been complaining about on the show and off the show. And guys, for me, this is Paul trying to end his career before it even started. Paul should have just sucked up his ego and don't even say anything at all. Sometimes being silent is the best of it all. Put people in that state of suspense. Let people be suspecting. Let people be thinking that, is it true? These things Chioma said, is it true? Is it false? Just let it go. Let it go. You played your role well, whether it was real or fake, nobody cares anymore. But you did what you had to do on the show. Just keep quiet and see your clientele grow. Keep your clientele busy, keep your life busy. But no, you chose to come and open your big mouth to say what nobody even asked you about. Now guys, professionally, this is not really a good sign for Paul at all. Because no organizer, no producer of a show would want to see the cast at the end of the day going out to spill details that the public does not need to know about. And this is what Paul does not understand. I feel like Paul has set himself up in the acting industry or in the filming industry, in the movie industry. I'm wondering now how many directors, how many producers will be willing to bring Paul onto their project, because they might be scared that this guy, you've got a loose mouth. You might as well go out there tomorrow and spill the beans on so many things that we do not even want the public to know about our project. And that is not really a good thing for his upcoming career, because dude is already calling himself an actor, but he has not even been able to build his integrity as an actor. And to be honest, I feel like Paul has not been fair on the show itself. I mean, before Blue Therapy, nobody knew about Paul. I had no idea who the guy is. Nobody even knew about the entire cast of Blue Therapy. But then Blue Therapy came with a plan, a very, very strong plan, which was not just able to push the show to greater heights or the owners of the show, but also the cast. Because if you look at it, guys, the cast are now even more popular than the organizers of the show. I've been calling Andy Amadi, Andy Amadi. I'm sure that a lot of people do not even know who Andy Amadi is. That is because he is the director, and the directors are usually faceless. So I feel like Paul has just been very, very selfish about his own process and this entire process. I feel like he has not presented himself to be a person of integrity. I feel like he has not really presented himself to be very, very trustworthy, because from some of the things that the director was putting out on Instagram yesterday, it just went to show that he did not expect all of that from Paul, that he was very, very disappointed that these things, they possibly would have warned or instructed the cast that, hey, do not answer any questions, pertaining to if the show is scripted or not. But there again, Paul had to go and make that video. And then Jamil also had an Instagram interview yesterday, and then he also revealed or disclosed that everything was real, that the couples were real. And then I'm wondering, like, what is wrong with these people? But if you ask me, guys, I am all for the drags coming from the other cast towards Paul, guys, because I feel like none of them actually expected him to do what he did. And I'm just all for the solidarity. I love how they are fighting this whole thing together, because, guys, to be very honest, the show has not really completely wrapped up yet. So I feel like Paul just gave out a major spoiler that people don't really even care about. You should have just kept quiet. Let the show run its course. Let the show end. Then after 1 week, you can open your mouth and say whatever you want to say. But for now, you're just killing the vibes of the director. You're just killing the vibes of the owners of the show. They have not really made their money. They've not really profited enough from all their hard work, from all their sweat. So why are you trying to spoil somebody's market? You know what? I'm just going to leave this one to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I look forward to knowing your thoughts about this one. And if there's anybody out there that has the original tea, still an answer to that very question that a lot of people are still asking, is the show real or fake? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Glory. Have an amazing day. Bye.